All right, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to do this, man. Like this is really major. Like I've been wanting to do this podcast for so long, and a few weeks ago I just finally, I guess, had an epiphany and was just like, okay, let me just go ahead and start putting this together. And ironically, it all came together much quicker than what I thought it would. So like really within a week and a half, I was ready to start recording and had people booked and all that stuff. So it's really cool. And with me doing it, you were one of the people that I really wanted to circle back to. I'm using this podcast really as a means to, obviously talk to the people that I think are really doing like powerful things out here in the industry and whatnot, but also connect with those people that I feel have been like highly influential in my life and in my career and things that I'm doing. And it's so much stuff that I know that you were able to do for me to kind of help me along the way, man. So, obviously I'm really grateful for that. And I know I say it here and there, but I think this is just another opportunity for me to really get that point across and say thank you. So I appreciate you for today.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, even though, we talk on a regular basis. But
right.
it's good to get the information out to the people. And, we don't always talk, on the business side of things.
Right.
But, yeah.
I mean, but it's cool though, and it's funny because I was just talking to Kathy from Source Radio Network, and
okay,
we were just talking because one of the things that I'm looking at doing with me, having the podcasting network now and doing different podcasts and getting different podcasts on this network, I wanted to do a relaunch of Indie Soul Saturdays and just do it as a podcast. So I reached out to her just in terms of doing that. And we just got kind of on the topic of relationships that I've been able to build. And I don't think that coming into this, I really expected to kind of build like friendships and relationships with people in that sense where we talk a lot, really just on life and different stuff going on and not necessarily just the music industry. But I just think that you're one of those people, like, obviously you've been tremendously helpful in a lot of the stuff that I've been able to do. And I think that even in ways where I wasn't really, like, I didn't necessarily have the faith in my brand in the beginning, like, you had a lot of faith in the brand and what I could do. And it felt like I remember doing Indie Soul Saturdays kind of because of you. But I don't know, like, do you recall that?
Yeah, because what ended up happening was you were very helpful with getting a lot of my, clients that I was working with as far as doing public relations, giving them a platform. A lot of the indie artists that I was working with are up-and-coming talent, giving them a platform, not only from your magazine, just doing a lot of features for them, but also, indie artists, giving them a platform where their music was being able to be heard, they're able to be interviewed and get the word out about their new project. So we were very helpful in that along the way for so many years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just in that headspace now where I'm like reminiscing and trying to remember how stuff went down and just letting people know how grateful I am. So just kind of circling back to that, man. I appreciate you, like, for everything that you've done, stuff that you've done that I may not know about, and then obviously all of the stuff that I know that you did to really help me to push the brand of, UB Digital. I think it's gone a long way, and it's hard to believe, like, it's been 8 years since I've had this magazine out here, and I know it's kind of morphed into different things and whatnot, but I see like a really big future for it now. So, obviously you're a part of that. You're a part of the history of it, and obviously, what comes of it as I move forward. But I appreciate that, of course. But like, what got you in, like, media and PR and all of that industry?
When I first started the company, I was mainly doing just marketing. And in any business, you have to be innovative, start new things, and we were attending a lot of events in the Atlanta area as Atlanta was up and coming. And I just was like meeting a lot of different artists, and I started having ways of growing the business, thinking, okay, I'm working with all these people doing like marketing for them. Let me start, merging the business more into the PR side. And so that's when I started taking the public relations side and, getting their information and getting the word out more with them as on the different projects and things that they were coming out on. And I don't even remember how I came across your magazine, but I came across your magazine, and I don't remember who was the very first person you featured for me, because you have featured so many, but I don't know.
Well, I think it was around the time that I had Angela Robinson on the cover from the Haves and the Have-Nots.
So was that Mila?
Yeah, I remember we did Mila, because actually I did Mila, and I can't remember the lady that was on Tyler Perry. She was the housekeeper on the Tyler Perry show.
Chandra.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I think I did both of them at the same time, but that may have been afterwards, because I feel like one of the first things you had me do was when I came down to McDonough's, and they did, when they did the Bad Brothers did the play down there.
Okay. I know.
So I don't know. I mean, you had to do so many things
running together. Yeah, and it's been that launch was back in like 2014 when I first started doing the PR side of the business, and then I just was starting to work with so many different people, and it just started growing ever since. And the great thing about it, I was able to work with so many people that I grew up or admired listening to, or was a big fan of their work, and to be a part of handling, giving them marketing and PR advice and helping their career grow was, just surreal. And it was amazing.
I think it's amazing just because, first of all, I'm learning actually as you're speaking to me right now that you had newly launched. Like I thought you had been out there for a number of years already.
The company actually launched in 2011, and in 2011 we were just doing the marketing side, more doing like branding for apparel and products and things of that nature. And then that was when I started meeting a lot of the different artists, because I was working with some of them and handling their marketing as far as just doing like graphic design for them and a lot of their print for their albums and things like that. And I was already, working with a lot of the different radio talents and things of that nature and meeting them. So that was when the PR side kind of came along, and we just started doing so much more, just everything from the videography to, photography, and just a lot of different things to help, grow the business and people's career.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me how, I won't even say how quickly, but it's just amazing to me how you were able to grow in the way that you did, considering the market that you were in. Because, obviously it's so many huge talents and whatnot in Atlanta, and it's just a lot going on down there, and it's so many different publicists and whatnot. So it's like being a fish in a big pond. So, I mean, there's a lot of people around there that are doing similar stuff and whatnot. So I would imagine that it would be really difficult to get yourself established as a publicist down there and really get like some of the top clients. So, like, did you find it difficult?
I started finding that we were one of the first, I wouldn't say the actual first, but doing things out of the box and setting ourselves apart from the others, because a lot of people were just doing PR. But
Right.
one thing with Miracle Marketing was more of a one-stop shop because you can get your flyers done. If you had an event, you can get your album cover done, graphic design, you can get your PR work done. So if you wanted, T-shirts for a product that was coming out, we did it all. So that was one thing that set our company apart from a lot of the others, was we weren't just a one-dimensional company. We were pretty much where, like, let's say you go to Walmart. Walmart has everything that you want right there. So it was the one thing that set us aside. And then I started seeing it where people were kind of copying a little bit, and Atlanta started being really saturated, and it just so happened that through life and, different things that change, I had transitioned in a move twice since being in Atlanta, because then I started moving up to the New York, New Jersey area. So started doing a lot of stuff in the New York, New Jersey area. So, but even being in Atlanta, a lot of times, a lot of my clients weren't in Atlanta. And I know you were kind of familiar with that because you interview a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Some of them were already in New York, a lot of them. Some of them were in Miami. A lot of them were in L.A. So I at one point in time, I don't think I even had anybody that was in Atlanta, maybe one person, but a lot of my actors or entertainers were in different regions of the world. That's the great thing about it.
But like, how were you able to obviously catch the attention of people that weren't in Atlanta while you were still in Atlanta?
It's just the internet, man. And, that's the great thing about the internet is because it's just like FedEx. They may be based out of Memphis, but they are a global company.
Like, how do you feel like you were able to, I guess when you think of like current day now and kind of where media and PR and everything is, like how were you able to grow the company and kind of sustain?
It was a challenge, and I mean, it's still a challenge to this day because everything is constantly changing. So you just kind of got to think of new ways to be innovative, fresh, and that's something that I still, I don't even have an easy answer for that. It's something.
I mean, I struggle with that with the magazine, so I get it 1,000,000%. You always want to stay fresh and innovative.
Yeah, I sit, there's days where I sit and think of what can I do different than I was doing before? And, how can I make some changes to be new, fresh, and innovative, because things constantly change.
Exactly. And even with Urban Grandstand Digital, like you kind of know, I know that you know where I stood as far as what I wanted to cover and what I didn't want to cover, who I wanted to feature and who I didn't really give a shit about. And I'm still in that mode, which I feel like in a lot of ways, obviously that's helped me, but then I feel like in a lot of ways that's hindered me because we both know that drama sells. So all of the crazy shit, as much as they say that, we want somebody that's not going to, worry about that stuff, that's ultimately what they want. They want somebody that's going to help them get, that media or that extra press out there or whatever. But, obviously I stick to my guns, and I've stuck to my guns and made sure that I didn't really, touch on a lot of the craziness that goes on out there. Like, did you kind of have, I guess that epiphany, if we want to say that, like when you were, pushing your company, like were there things that you said, well, I'm not doing this and I don't want to do that, or I don't want to focus on that direction of it?
Just to give you some insight, like, I don't know if you remember when I was working with one of the girls from the Bad Girls Club.
I do.
I was handling her PR. I
feel like I remember who it was too.
Okay, so
'Cause
I
I think
wanted
you
to
were going
keep
to
the
have
company.
something with her, or I may have even done something with her, but I know I was thinking at the time, like, she kind of don't really fit what I do, though.
Right. And so a lot of times people had the stereotype of, oh, the bad girls club, or, you know, things like that. And I just had to think outside the box, because you're looking at the person from a TV show, not from them as an individual. In real life. And, you know, as you get to talk with them, they're very intelligent. They have a lot of things. They have goals that they want to achieve. Definitely. And things of that nature. And so, you know, I would hear some of the comments of, you know, when she would get featured on certain magazines, if the photos were a little too sexy or whatever. But you can't, if you sit there and listen to,
like, as far as the photos and stuff, that didn't really bother me. I think it made the thing that I kind of look at is, I guess, how they carry themselves, like, even outside of TV shows and whatnot. And I think that one of the things that I've learned how to do, and it may have come honestly from you, is a lot of people, when I interview them, I've learned how to really spin it into something positive, and obviously look at the things that they're doing community-wise, and just like you said, the things that they want to accomplish, and businesses and that sort of thing. So I did learn how to spin it, like when there was different stuff going on that I didn't necessarily want to cover or touch on, or that everybody else was looking at, I could always find something different to really focus on. And I may have gotten that from you, you know, just knowing that, okay, some of the people he sends my way, they may not necessarily be, I guess, quote unquote, what I think is something that matches the gram, but I know how to spin it in a way that'll, you know, make it that though.
And that was the great thing about, you know, sending clients your way, is because, you know, you don't prejudge or anything like that, and right. You pretty much featured whoever. So that was a great thing. And one of the things, you know, it's like anything. Okay, I look at like Snoop, and you look at how Snoop started, and you would box him into one genre, and you look at Snoop today, he works with everybody, anybody. He's on all different platforms. Exactly. He's very versatile. So that's why you can't box somebody in because, oh, they're a gangster rapper or something. No, he's more than that. He's an actor. He can turn it on in different ways. And, you know, he does community work. He does TV shows. He does hosting. He's not just one thing. So that's why you can't take somebody as, oh, well, they were on this TV show and that TV show is kind of fun, so I'm not going to, you know, I thought your company was a certain way and all that.
Exactly.
So when it comes to handling your stuff, we're going to handle you your way. If it comes to this, it's going to be handled this way. Just like I would get calls from people and say, well, my client is a rapper, and I see you work with mostly R&B artists. Okay, so I'm not going to put a rapper on a certain demographic, or I'm not going to put a comedian that I work with in a certain magazine. You tailor it to fit them. You know, I've been doing this for a while, you know, so I know how to market someone and what industry I'm going to put them in. It's a matter of, that's why you want to hire me, is for my expertise. So I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
I think there's I love listening to you talk and really just like talk about this stuff because like you have a strong expertise just in this business as a whole, but there's a number of things that I've learned from you. Like one of the biggest things that I still remember to this day, there was and I won't say her name at this point, but there was a particular person that you reached out to, and obviously when you reach out to people to, to get them to, be featured in something or whatever, it's usually like their handlers or their people that respond back. It's generally not the artist themselves or whatever. And they told you no. They told you no. And then somehow or another, I don't know if it was a week later or a month later or how far apart it was, but at some point, the artists themselves actually saw the platform and then reached out and said, "Hey, I want to be down with it." And it made me start really thinking and realizing that a lot of times it's not the artist that's responding back, because I think in the beginning it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth with the artists themselves, like, well, damn, they ain't want to be by. But half the time it's not even the artist that's responding.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it too. And one thing I want to touch on, James, while I have you on this platform, is one thing that has to stop is, especially for actors, is the managers telling these actors, you're not ready for PR. Your role is not big enough where you need public relations, or your role is not big enough for this. Wait until you get on a bigger platform. That's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. Most ignorant thing I've ever heard. And I get that all the time, where I may talk with the actor, oh, well, my manager said that my role isn't big enough. Their job is not to handle public relations and marketing. That's why when you go on and certain actor that's on a certain levels page, or you go to their website, it says, for bookings, this person handles that. My manager handles this. For public relations and media, here's my publicist. Those people handle different things. I'm not going to go talk to the manager about handling your books or something like that, because if I'm a publicist, that's not my job. I don't handle that side. So you stick in your arena. Let me handle my arena. Don't try and step over. And you're hurting your client, because your client can begin so much more exposure and everything, but you're constantly telling these people, well, you don't have, your role is not big enough. So you're going to wait until they just one day get a starring role, and then that's when you're going to say, okay, well, now you can be, you don't need it at that point. People know who you are.
What do you feel like you learned, obviously, throughout the entire process of you running, the PR side of the company, that will help you moving forward, kind of post-pandemic?
That's a great question. COVID has affected so many things, and I think it affected so many people's budget and everything, because I look at how certain things were pre-COVID and how certain things were after COVID. So that's a great question. It's a matter of, it's something that I look at every day on how we were just talking about, how to become innovative and stay fresh and do different changes and different things. Like, one of the main things I think was very innovative is during COVID, and what has taken on a big platform now that is almost a household thing where you look forward to it coming, is Verse. When people couldn't go out and perform, they found a way to get artists virtually and watch them virtually. Or, I look at stuff like DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic, and that was very innovative. So stay tuned, because I'm brainstorming every single day, and you will see some things that come from Amirakal Marketing that's going to change and, be new and innovative. So stay tuned. We're just in the beginning of 2022, so that's something that I'm working on as we speak.
I am absolutely looking forward to, obviously more coming from Amirakal Marketing, and, obviously with all of the stuff that we've done in the past and kind of where things are now. And of course, with me getting reestablished and really getting everything back out there, I'm like, really, really dying to work with you again, kind of like how we did back over the past years, and, really do some things to make an even stronger mark than what we've made now. I just feel like this industry needs, obviously companies like yours and publicists publicists who really care about the artists and want to get them out there, and they're not just out there for $1. And the publications that are going to put your material out there and really and truly support you. And I still find a struggle, obviously in booking people and getting people who, really believe in the brand and, want to be covered for some of this stuff. It's still difficult to get people booked, and people obviously are looking at your numbers and all of that kind of stuff and how many followers you have. And at the end of the day, you want real followers. So you don't want somebody that has, 10 million followers or whatever, and none of those are real, or, they bought all of them followers and whatnot. So it's a lot, obviously, of just issues and red tape and stuff like that. But I love doing this stuff, man. And I love working, obviously, with you. So now, obviously, as we move forward, when you think about direction and just the way that you want things to go, like, what kind of do you envision for Amirakal Marketing, just in terms of PR and, bringing on new artists?
What I envision is getting things back to pre-COVID. I would like to work with a lot of up-and-comers and help them become a household name. I felt that I was doing a lot of that, over the years, where I took a lot of people that no one really heard of or knew anything about and got the word out about who they are and what their different projects were, or if it was someone that was out years ago, kind of getting them back out, their name back out there and getting them reestablished in the industry. So I would like to see a lot more of that coming about. I started working with a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but some athletes, that were doing things outside of their sport, or retired athletes. So I want to start helping athletes get the word out about the different things that they're doing and helping them, letting them know that I can help them with their branding and their marketing and anything that they have established. I want to start doing more of that. One thing I don't know if you know about was Sports Madness. For a lot of people that don't know, those two are my children. They were doing a lot of things, working with different athletes and, sports figures and developing their platform. So I want to start getting that going again as well, because they had a little bit of a hiatus once COVID started, because they were starting to really get a good platform going with the Las Vegas Aces WNBA team. And
you did amazing with that.
Yeah, so they were starting to do a lot of stuff with the Aces and things like that. Then COVID happened, so they kind of dropped off from that. But looking to get, get going again and getting that established. So, those are some things that I talked about. I don't know if, you remember Jules Nobles.
I do. Because that was because she was a nurse.
She's a nurse and an actress as well.
Right.
So me and her talk regularly, and we've been talking about, because she's getting ready to start resurfacing again. Okay. So you can look for some things to come from her as well, coming up. So yeah, those are some things that's going to be coming up in the near future.
It would be amazing to reconnect with her again, just because I think that she and I connected really good, just in terms of her being a nurse and me working in the hospital too.
Yeah, Jules is great. What's crazy is we were talking earlier about how I was in Atlanta, and most of my clients weren't in Atlanta. Jules was one that she was in New York at the time.
Right.
And I was handling a lot of her PR and marketing while she was up in New York, juggling the nursing and making movies at that point in time. And it just so happened one day when I was in Harlem, I was walking down the street, and that was when Tamike was on Power. Remember Tamike?
Yeah, I do.
And I was walking down the street in Harlem, and I ran into Jules. And she was like, Brandon? I was like, Jules? And we just happened to run into each other. Strangest thing in New York.
Right. And I mean, it's so many people in New York, and obviously New York is so big, so that's kind of crazy that you would run into her like that.
Exactly. Yep. So, and that was for something I was working on with Tamike at the time, and I just happened to run into Jules while she was there. It was funny.
I mean, you've done some really amazing work out there. Is there anything that you regret?
I don't think nothing you really should regret. I think everything happens for a reason. Some stuff you got to test certain things to see what works, what doesn't work. You got to try different things to see. You can't be scared. If something fails, you got to be able to, hurry up and shift. But at least you try it, because scared money doesn't make any money.
Most definitely.
And, a lot of things that's out today, if someone never thought of it or released it, it never would happen. One thing that always sticks in my head is when I watched the interview with Stan Lee, and he talked about how he developed Spider-Man. And they laughed at him saying, oh, that would never work. A teenage boy that got bit by a spider, and look at Spider-Man today. So you just can't be scared to try different things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of last comments, man. Anything that you really, want to say, want to speak on?
I just want people to, if they are looking to get a platform out, we can definitely help them as far as getting the word out, taking things off of their plate where they are able to just concentrate on being the talent and not trying to juggle the marketing or the PR side of things. And, one thing with you, I know you have a great platform. You're a great interviewer. So we will definitely be putting them your way as far as if it's magazines or radio or you. One thing about you will hit the pavement and go out and cover any of their events. So that's another thing that I love about you. So
listen,
yeah.
And you just don't know how much I appreciated, the fact that you invited me out to stuff. And, when I came out to the event and, Shonda was there and Mila was there. And I think I had talked to you just in the past, about, even with 702 and how much I followed them and really looked up just to their music and all of that kind of stuff. And then to be invited out to come and be a part of stuff like that. Or when you invited me down to Texas and I came down to cover the play. And I mean, it just so happened that coincidentally, Dolores, she was going down there to see her sister. So I'm like, okay, well, I could drive down there and then we could go to Houston and go to the play. And I just thought it was really dope to be invited to stuff like that and even have the opportunity to go. I appreciate you so much for that stuff, man. And just the people that you got me, for the magazine and for me to be able to cover. And I just thought it was really amazing. I think that there's so many things that I've been able to do that, without your help and without your faith and all of that, a lot of this stuff I would not have been able to pull off, man. I appreciate it so much.
Vice versa, man, the same way. I wouldn't, by you having a platform and a platform where people can get their word out about their project or get featured. It's the same way. It works hand in hand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate, again, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you taking the time out today. I think this was really dope. And I mean, this helped so much, just with moving this podcast forward and being able to express to the people that I feel were super influential to me, like how grateful I am and how thankful I am. And I just look forward to doing more, man. I appreciate you so much.
Same here, man. Anytime you want me, I'll be on. No
all right,
problem
man.
at all.